Hi, have you ever wondered how to generate more leads in B2B? Well, of course you have. We all do, all of the time. Well, today I'm not going to share with you any killer tactic that you've not heard of, because frankly, you've heard of all of the tactics. What I am going to share with you, though, is a way to generate all of the leads that you need. Big difference. And how do I know? Well, we've got 2,000 go-to-market plans in our database, 500 of which we built with and for our clients. Now, that doesn't mean that we get it right all the time, but it does suggest that we're drawing on some knowledge, having done this a lot of times. I want to share some of what we've learned with you today. Well, there are 5 steps to generating all of the leads that you need in B2B. And the first step is really simple. Load up your funnel plan with tactics to move buyers from the gap acknowledged stage to the decision made stage. I'll explain that a bit more later, but basically it's from the point where the buyer is troubled about the status quo. Then think about all of the possible segments or conditions for which you're going to need unique tactics that get you up to the gap acknowledged stage. Step 3, choose the 5 highest priorities and make those your campaigns. 4, build a campaign for each of those segments or conditions. And again, shortly I'll explain the difference between a segment and a condition. They're both valid. For now, I'm going to keep them together. And step 5, make any adjustments to your gap acknowledged tactics, that is the tactics you already put in the first place, to accommodate any of these new campaigns. Let me explain what all of that means. The first thing I want you to acknowledge is that it's not about the tactics, it's about the buyer. That is, it's not should I use social media or where should I use social media or even how should I use social media. Rather, it's what would the best way be to, and then insert the progression you're trying to achieve. What would the best way be to achieve, say, to position with buyers who are looking but don't know about me? What would the best way be to get those buyers to accept that they've got a problem that I know how to solve? What would the best way be to, and then think about each of the stages in the buyer's journey. Let me quickly walk you through that buyer's journey. But the first idea I want you to have is that it's not about the tactic, it's about the progression for the buyer. The tactics are chosen to do that, but start with the buyer progression, not the tactic. Hey, I'm not going to labour this. Again, I just want you to understand the buyer's journey. In the end, there's a decision, and to make a decision, I need to prefer yours. And before I prefer yours, I need to know what it is, but together with the other options as well. Before that, I have a need. Before that, there's some problem I'm trying to fix or avoid. Before that, I might be interested, but I'm really not yet acknowledging that there is actually a problem to fix. Before that, I know who you are, but I just don't care. And before that, I don't even know who you are, let alone care. So let's go forward again. In the beginning, if I'm the buyer, I know who you are. Then I'm interested. Then I accept that there's some problem either now or in the future that I need to fix or avoid. Then I agree what I need. Then I'm clear what you can do to meet that need. Then I prefer it, and then I buy it. So the point I want to make in today's show is that we need to have tactics good enough to get each of the buyer types through that journey. Now, some of the progressions in the journey are going to be common for all buyers under all circumstances. But let's think about some of these. Here's a list of typical buyer types. Now, these are not segments. You could certainly do a campaign for each segment, but I find it's often more powerful to think about the sort of the moment or the occasion or the trigger that gets the buyer looking. Think about, well, some buyers actually aren't looking, but they're ideal. They're really a good prospect for you, and you should be outbounding to them in some fashion. Definitely they're going to be one of the moments or conditions or circumstances that you will need to get buyers up to that gap acknowledged stage. Think about buyers though who are looking, who you don't necessarily know, but they're looking and they need to find you. Obviously you'll think about search in that situation, paid and organic. Think about somebody who's just moved. They've just taken a role in the right kind of company, whether that's the right industry or even the right exact company. Think about all of the conditions. Here are some of my favourites. So again, there are 5 steps. Load up your funnel plan with tactics to move buyers from the gap acknowledged stage to decision made. because at the 90% level, they're going to be common for all campaigns. Second, think about all of the possible segments, or as I just explained, maybe the conditions or the triggers for which you will need unique tactics. If you're going to use the same tactics for each of your segments, then you don't need to cover segments. If though your segments are so different that you're going to need different ways to get them up to the gap acknowledge stage, then segments would be a good use of this idea. For now, I'll stick with this idea of conditions or triggers. 3, choose the 5 highest of those segments or conditions to be your new campaigns. Why 5? Because we need a granular plan, not a plan that nobody can actually understand. 5 is really a working maximum. 4, build a campaign for each of those segments or conditions. Now again, start it positioned in category for inbound tactics, because you don't need to know their name, they're going to find you. But for your outbound tactics, think again about people who meet the ideal client profile but aren't yet looking, but should be. We're going to have outbound tactics for them. It's not all about inbound. We need inbound and outbound. So for outbound tactics, we'll start at new names found, the earliest stage, or the earliest stage even. Finally, make any adjustments to the gap acknowledge tactics onwards for these new campaigns. That is, you built a generic set of tactics to get people troubled, but do any of those 5 campaigns need additional tactics because of the campaign shape? So if you don't already have a funnel plan, get a free one. Start with a free one. The paid funnel plan, of course, has a lot more power, including the ability to switch campaigns in and out, edit the tactics, etc. But the free one, at least you can start with what we call a playbook, which is the whole end-to-end set of tactics, including our most popular campaigns. Start with a free one, go to funnelplan.com. Go there now, go to funnelplan.com, get yourself a plan and start planning, but plan for all of the lead types, all of the campaigns. I hope you enjoyed that. I did, in putting it together for you. Lots more lined up for next week, and until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing. Our thanks this week to Mike Stelzner and Marcus Sheridan for Why Answering Questions Sells. Great blog I listened to that motivated me for today's show. Kira Draper for production. Thank you again, as always. My name's Hugh McFarlane, and it's been my absolute pleasure to script and present this week's show for you.